Now, you know, because of this hiatus in games, and the NBA season will resume, guys. We're looking at June. We're looking at June for games to start being played again. And probably the season is going to run all the way into August or September. And I think everything is just going to be fine. But because of these delayed in games, because of the whole, the world is pretty much trying to fight this mysterious illness, a lot of these sports talk shows have had to change the way that they produce their shows. And if you watch us at Dreamerspro, you would notice that since this virus hit, we've actually been producing more content than ever before, just to show you guys that we're not going to be flustered about what's happening, and we're dead serious about the work that we do. And we're producing more content for you guys and trying to keep you guys even more engaged. So when people are dialing back and doing reruns, we're hitting you guys with fresh content every single day. So Undisputed has been shooting their show in sort of in a quarantine kind of fashion. I think Skip Bayless shoots it from his house. Shannon Sharp shoots it from his house. I haven't seen them in the same location yet. But anyway, the show is still going on. And in the recent episode, they were talking about LeBron James, his chances for the regular season MVP, and what they think is going to happen when the NBA season resumes, given this 3 to 4 month hiatus that the NBA games have been on. And Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp were weighing in on what they thought was going to happen, or what they think is going to transpire once the season resumes again. And Skip Bayless gave some interesting takes that I couldn't quite follow. I couldn't follow his train of reasoning. But in one of the things that he was saying that he believes that because of this long break, first of all, he still thinks that LeBron. Well, before I get into it, just take a listen to what he had to say.
So, Shannon Sharp, I regret to make this announcement right here on live TV on Undisputed. Your man, LeBron James, just won his 5th, if you can believe, MVP, and his 4th. I'm sorry, back in the control room, I'm getting it back, my voice back in my ear here. If you guys could fix this, but this is driving me crazy, like my voice in my ear is. But Shannon, what happened was that your man was on a hell-bent pace to win this MVP. And I believe he had just edged past, you think he had blown past Giannis for this year's MVP. And in so doing, he was playing high minutes for a guy who was in year 17. You were making the point, well, it's a career low minutes per game for LeBron. But the point was that he still played 209 more minutes than anybody else on the Los Angeles Lakers. That's astounding to me. And he'd still played the 15th most minutes in the whole NBA. And for a guy nearing the end of year 17, a guy who did get hurt a year ago on Christmas Day when he pulled his groin and really wasn't the same the rest of the year and they missed the playoffs, for that kind of guy, 209 more minutes than any other Laker is a pretty precipitous pace that you're on, because you are daring the injury devil that you're going to get hurt again. So I thought it was right on time for LeBron to not only clinch his 5th MVP, which, by the way, would tie him with Michael Jordan, but also it puts him in even much stronger position to win his 4th ring. He's now 3-6 in the finals. That would be 4-6 in the finals, and at least make him a little more credible candidate for GOAT, as you already proclaim him. But the point was, with the Clippers, they just needed reps. They needed this season to go forward because they just haven't played together enough. Remember that only 10 times, well, it's now 11 because they lost that game to the Lakers, but only 11 times this year have they had their full roster intact, and they'd played 64 total games. And remember this, LeBron had already played 60 games, and AD had played 55 games, and together they had played 53 games. So they'd gotten a whole lot of reps as a duo, as a dynamic duo. What's happened with the Clippers? Kawhi's down at 51 games. Paul George is way down at 42 games, and they've only played 32 games together. So it's 53 together for LeBron and AD, and only 32 together for the dynamic duo of the Clippers. And again, I think the Clippers are better than the Lakers, but they're not more experienced this year than the Lakers because they need to get something clicking by playing more games. And now they can't play any games, and we're not sure whether they're going to be any more games. But if they have a brief sort of prelude to playoffs and then throw everybody into an abbreviated playoffs, maybe it'll be 5-game series instead of 7-game series. Well, it's a huge, huge advantage to LeBron James. So I'm going to congratulate him because the team I love, the Clippers, but by the way, remember, they just recently added Marcus Morris and Reggie Jackson. They are high volume shooters. They are ball dominant. You know, one guy's off the bench and one guy's a new starter, but they're new ball dominant cogs to this attack, and they're going to shoot the basketball. Well, you got to figure out how to blend them in to the new chemistry of the Clippers. And I think that's going to be a big problem if we just go, boom, start the playoffs. Your thoughts?
Now, that's Skip Bayless basically explaining his position on whether or not he feels that LeBron is still going to win the regular season MVP. I don't quite agree with him on that. I don't know how he was able to get to that conclusion, but I think that that's Skip Bayless basically just saying that he believes that the media is so skewed towards LeBron, although they took a poll and 60% of the people are saying most likely they're going to vote for Giannis. He still thinks that somehow, some way, LeBron is going to pull that thing out and win the regular season MVP. But then he took it a step further and then went on to say that he thinks that because of this break, that the Lakers are now in a great position to win the NBA championship, and he thinks that the Lakers are going to win the NBA championship because of this long break, and the Clippers still are integrating some new pieces like Morris and others, whereas the Lakers seem to have a little bit more chemistry on their team. So therefore, he thinks it's going to lend to the success that the Lakers are going to have because LeBron James, who's a player in year 17, is going to have more rest, therefore is going to allow him to be able to be fully rested and ready to go for the playoffs, and therefore he believes that the Lakers are going to end up winning the NBA championship and LeBron James is going to be the regular season MVP and the finals MVP. I don't agree with pretty much any of that. I don't know how he arrived at that conclusion, but that's what Skip Bayless seems to believe. Now, currently for the season, LeBron is averaging 25.5 points a game, getting you 7.9 rebounds and 10.6 assists, which is a career high, and he's also leading the league in assists for the first time ever. He's playing 35 minutes a game, shooting 50% from the field, 35% from the three-point line, and 70% from the free throw line, getting you 1.2 steals a game. So LeBron has definitely stepped it up in year 17, especially from the defensive end of the floor, and I have to credit him for being the leader that's really spearheaded the Lakers being the number one team in the Western Conference with a 49-14 record currently, and they've won 8 out of their last 10, and a lot of that has to be attributed to the work that LeBron James has put in to help the Lakers be able to be the number one team in the Western Conference. And also, I have to give LeBron James a lot of props because he was able to beat two of the major teams that he's most likely may face in the playoffs, either in the Eastern Conference if they go to the finals, or in the Western Conference Finals by beating the Clippers and the Milwaukee Bucks in a back-to-back effort, obviously with a day apart. And LeBron James was able to bring those wins home, especially with the performance that he put up against Giannis Antetokounmpo. I think it was on Friday, and then with the game that with the game that the Lakers were able to put away the Clippers on that Sunday that they were able to play each other. That was when, right before the season just had to be suspended. So I definitely commend LeBron James because he is the reason, he is the driving force for the Lakers having all of the success that they have. But for Skip Bayless to now be able to extrapolate information based off of everything that he's seen and maybe from his past experiences, then to go as far as to say that he now believes that the Lakers, he believes that LeBron James is going to win the regular season MVP and then ultimately win the finals MVP. You lost me there, Skip, and I like you. The regular season MVP, I can see it if it's a political game. I can see that happening because we've seen the tide sort of shift really quickly. And a lot of people are now jumping on the LeBron James bandwagon. But as far as him winning the Finals MVP. I completely disagree with you on that one, Skip. I don't see how you're able to reason that out. The rest that he's getting is the same rest that all the other teams that are playoff bound are going to get. So all things remaining the same. I mean, the Clippers had a lot of knick-knack injuries to players like Paul George, Pat Beverly, Kawhi Leonard, and others. And all of these guys are going to have 3 or 4 months off. So if you originally believed that the Clippers are the best team in the league, why would you now change your pick when the Clippers have more rest? Yes, the Lakers have rest, but so do the Clippers. So he's making his argument based off of chemistry. And as I said, I don't believe with his final take on that. This is just my opinion, by the way. You guys can definitely chime in on the conversation. Now, granted, if you guys are listening to this, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to check out the Dreamerspro Podcast. I forgot to mention that in the beginning. And if you're listening to this on the Dreamerspro Podcast, make sure you check us out on YouTube. The name of the channel is Dreamerspro. Make sure you guys check us out. We got a lot of great content on sports that you guys, I'm sure, will definitely enjoy. So don't forget to check out the Dreamerspro Podcast or the YouTube channel Dreamerspro. So those are basically my thoughts and opinions on the whole Skip Bayless, picking LeBron to win the regular season MVP, and also him picking LeBron to win the NBA Finals MVP. So I definitely want to know what you guys think about this. If you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below. And if you're listening to this on the Dreamerspro Podcast, make sure you guys leave some ratings or feedback in any way that you can. Again, we're on Spotify and iTunes. So let us know what you guys think about what I've been saying thus far in this particular in this podcast.
For more short clips and other interesting shows, be sure to subscribe to the Dreamerspro YouTube channel. And for more in-depth analysis on sports and other events around the sporting world, make sure you follow us on our Dreamerspro Podcast on Spotify and iTunes. Until the next episode, peace.